Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another broadcast of The Weekly with me, Neff. Please subscribe to the channel and share with a friend. Helps us out a lot, and we are trying to get to 100 subscribers. So please subscribe. This article, like I said, comes from World of Real. Ridley Scott has already started writing Gladiator 3. I've got 8 pages. That is a quote from Mr. Scott. Let's read into this article from Jordan Rumi. Last week, Ridley Scott took a lot of people by surprise with his confirmation that Gladiator 3 was in the works, and an idea only recently sparked in his head, now a full-blown development. Scott has now given us an update via Total Film. It turns out that he's already started work on the script, and that 8 pages have been written down so far. He hints that the story might rely less on the Colosseum action and more on Roman political intrigue. This is a quote. "I've already got 8 pages. I've got the beginning of a very good footprint," end quote. This could very well be his next one after the Bee Gees biopic, which is supposed to start production in early 2025. According to Scott, who turns 87 in November, the sequel would deal with Mescal's character and the power struggles of the political world in Rome. Gladiator 2 has not yet been released, but Paramount and Scott are so confident in its imminent success that they just can't help themselves. Of course, if the film ends up pulling a foule edouard with critics and audiences, then Gladiator 3 will probably never happen. And that's the end of that article there. As far as Ridley Scott writing this film, not surprised. It's really cool that he's excited about a potential third Gladiator film. I've talked about Gladiator 3 before and the trouble that it might have. One, I think the release date isn't that good for it. You know, they're releasing a rated R film, extremely violent, on Thanksgiving Day weekend. There's 2 issues with that. One, it's rated R, so it's not for the family. And 2, it's on a major holiday where people are not really going to be concerned with going to the theater to watch a 2.5-hour movie with a lot of violence in it. They're going to be with their families at home, chilling out, watching the Macy's Day Parade or something. As far as Gladiator 3 is concerned, for this film to actually get the budget that it needs to come out in theaters eventually, obviously Gladiator 2 is going to have to do well in theater. We've talked about the budget for this film. I believe it is $300 million plus. That's not even factoring the marketing costs. If you do factor in the marketing costs for this film, you're looking at a film that cost about $400 to $450 million. So there's a lot of pressure on this studio and Gladiator 2 to do well. As far as Ridley Scott working on the third Gladiator film already, I'm not surprised. Ridley Scott is pretty much a workhorse. He's had over a 60-year career in film. The guy puts out a movie every 2 years, super consistent. He's going to be 87, and it doesn't look like he has slowed down at all. There's one more thing that I think is going to hinder Gladiator 2's performance. I think there's a lot of people on the internet, and it's just the internet, but a lot of people on the internet not really feeling the idea that there is going to be a sequel to the original Gladiator. People really like that film. Film is really solid, won a lot of Oscars, arguably probably top 5 film in Ridley Scott's filmography, and he has about 25 to 26 movies currently. And a lot of people, you know, they hold that film dear to their heart, so they don't want to see a sequel to it that's not going to live up to the hype. And you got to look at the fact that this film is 20 plus years out from the original film's debut. I think it's about 24 years. I think the original Gladiator came out in year 2000 with Russell Crowe. So you're looking at a 24-year gap. So I think the story is going to line up well, but I think also, too, you could say this film is out of its time as far as following up with a sequel. So I think that is going to be another hurdle for that film to get over. I think Gladiator 2 is going to be a good film. I think visually it's going to be outstanding. I think the story is going to be quite decent, too. You don't really have to worry about visuals when it comes to Ridley Scott. The fact that Ridley Scott is writing the third film, that kind of gives me a moment to pause, because Ridley Scott is not really the best writer of scripts. He is a good visualist, and he's great at storyboarding, but outside of that, his writing is kind of a weak point for him. I don't know how that's going to work out. Hopefully he's getting some help with that. He's getting a co-writer to help him with some stuff there, but overall, I do think Gladiator 2 is going to be a decent film, and I will be in theaters to watch it. I'll definitely have my review for you guys once that film does come out on Thanksgiving Day weekend. But with that being said, that's all I got for this article. What do you guys think about Ridley Scott working on a potential Gladiator 3? I did speak on Gladiator 3 potentially being in development, I think last month, but it seems Ridley Scott is writing a script already. So definitely want to know what you guys think about this overall down in the comment section. Subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, share with a friend, and as always, be safe. It is Neff signing off.